Positivity, which sounds like an awesome topic. When she told me that earlier, I said I could use some of that because using the power of positivity with my kids instead of threats of consequences. I'm trying to get better about that. We just took a trip to Chicago, and they were just, I need to understand how to be more positive in my parenting, so I'm hoping I'm going to get that out of it. The fifth speech is your topic is your body speaks, so we'll be looking for some of those aspects of her speech. Otherwise, Jimmy, 5 to 7 minutes, and that's all I got for an intro. So, Heather, come up.
Power of positivity. You can catch more flies with an ounce of honey than you can with a bucket of vinegar. This is a quote that's often used to encourage people to approach different life circumstances with a positive attitude rather than with negativity. There are so many examples where our lives are shaped by positive versus negative interactions. And whether you're a glass half full kind of person or you are a glass half empty kind of person, there's no doubt, no argument that you can make that the way that your life is directed is shaped by what you find rewarding. Every decision that you make comes down to what makes you happy. So in animal behavior, my history is kind of woven with animal behavior and training experience. So in that circle, positive shaping is actually considered positive reinforcement. So that's a term you'll hear me kind of throw out here and there. Now, whether you're potty training a child, or you're teaching a puppy to catch a frisbee, or you're trying to get your spouse to fold the laundry maybe, you can use positive reinforcement to shape their behavior. And I would argue that there's success in mastering that positivity. Now, your behavior, as well as your pets or your spouses, is directed by one of two methods, either positive reinforcement or the idea of punishment, which is the opposite, the antithesis for negative. Now there's time and a place for punishment, and oftentimes we think of something like boot camp, where you kind of get that drill sergeant mentality. But there's an overwhelming body of evidence that suggests that positive reinforcement is the overwhelming favorite in teaching, training, and shaping behavior. Now, there's a wonderful book that I was actually forced to read when I was in an old position called Don't Shoot the Dog. And I recommend it to anybody who's curious about this positive reinforcement topic because it's only about yay big. It's a really thin, easy read, and it's written by a woman named Karen Pryor, who is a well-known behaviorist and trainer in animal psychology. And she boils down this idea of positive reinforcement to really understandable terms and gives some really good real-life examples of how it is successful in both animals and in people. Now, for the sake of my discussion today, if I say animal, you can pretty much substitute a dog, a fish, a whale, a seal. They all react to positive reinforcement in the same way. So feel free to ad-lib in your brain, whether it's your spouse or your children, the same rules apply. So in training, it all revolves around kind of like a real-life version of hot and cold. I don't know if everybody here had played that when you were younger. When somebody in the room picks an object, then you're supposed to kind of walk around the room and get directed by this person as to what this object may be. So if Luis is the object, I can walk over to him and Brian may say hot. If I walk toward Bob, somebody might say cold. The idea is that if you're headed in the right direction, you're getting the word hot, which is actually helping direct you toward the goal. And if you're heading in the opposite direction, you're getting direction for the same, that you're straying. And so this idea of training is using those cues to direct behavior. So it's walking across the room during a friendly game of hot and cold, or it's training a brand new skill or behavior. The idea of positive reinforcement is that if you're walking this direction, you're capturing the good or the hot. You're capturing what happens when you're doing the right thing. And in positive reinforcement, you actually forego giving any direction when I'm walking toward Bob, when you're doing the opposite. The idea of punishment is if I walk toward Bob, somebody not only says cold or yells cold, they might actually get a slap on the wrist or fire hose or something to the effect where you're not going to walk toward Bob if you can help it at all. So that's the difference kind of between this idea of positive versus negative. So if you take the well-known process of, say, potty training a dog, which we've all tried to do, or even potty training children, one of the common methods is to actually scold the dog when you see them mess in the house. But in that scenario, the animal, the dog, the child does not get any direction other than what they're not supposed to do. So what happens is you have a behavior, an occurrence, and they now know, well, I'm not supposed to do that, but what am I supposed to do? They're not receiving any direction to the desired behavior. So the alternative is when you take a dog outside and they do what they're supposed to do, they relieve themselves outside, you make this over-the-top positive, this joyful noise, and we all can do that kind of baby talk, yay, we're, good job. And then the dog knows exactly what it's supposed to be doing, and it's proven that the frequency of that behavior will increase because it now knows what it's supposed to do. And by ignoring what happened on the inside and reinforcing what happened on the outside, the likelihood of that good behavior increasing is there. So puppies may seem easy, a lot easier than something like a spouse, a child, even a coworker or a boss. But these same principles can be applied in a lot of different scenarios in our life. But it's not for the faint of heart. By using positive reinforcement, you're waiting, you're just sitting there and observing. And as a biologist, by trade, that's my job, is to observe. I can sit back and just wait. And I've done this multiple times, just sit and wait and wait and wait. And then that waiting game is what frustrates a lot of people in the idea of positive reinforcement, because you're ignoring everything else and you're waiting to spot exactly what you want. So whether that is, the potty training, or if it's learning a new skill, if you hit a home run, the idea of baseball and home runs, they say it's the most reinforcing sport there is, because you hit it out of the park and an entire stadium goes wild. It's immediate positive reinforcement. So next time you guys get a report late from maybe your coworkers or your spouse leaves socks on the floor, I encourage you guys to think first, instead of doing that constant 100th time reminder or yelling or frustration side of it. Instead, be prepared for the next time that the good behavior starts, that you're able to offer reward and positive encouragement to that situation. So be prepared to recognize it, reinforce it, and we have to do that consistently to make progress. I also encourage all of us to try it on ourselves too. Believe it or not, you can actually train yourself by being positive with yourself. So next time you complete a Toastmaster speech, or you turn in a report on time, or you get a workout done, then give yourself a pat on the back, a day off, or whatever you might need for your reinforcement, because the power of positive reinforcement is way greater than you might believe. So, thanks.